Hello everyone, today I thought we would take a look at a CMS solution in Rails. This is going to be using Hotwire. Some of the docs are still under construction. There's some other stuff that's still being worked on. But the good news about that is it means that it is in active development. You can go over to the GitHub page. You can see they only currently have one issue open with 4 open PRs. So it is something that's actually being worked on. And that's always a good sign, right? So let's take a look at this. It's actually pretty easy to get set up. If you're not familiar with the CMS, it's going to be similar to like WordPress. You create like a backend, you go into the backend and you create a bunch of posts and stuff for your page, similar to what you would do with like your post/new path. But instead of having like, to go into post/new, you just have a backend dashboard where you can do all of that management stuff. So we'll just go ahead and we'll take a look at it. We'll say Rails new video, and for this one we're going to be adding some of our usual flags. So we do a -J for ES build, not entirely necessary, but we are going to be using Tailwind, and then we also want to do a -D for Postgres because it wants Postgres. So we do that. That should go ahead and run all of those. Now, while this is running, we can come over to the page here and I'll show you some of the documentation. Oops, not that page, this page. In here we can see, if we come over to like I guess we can scroll down here. This is basically the layout for what you're going to get. Now by default it comes with a demo theme, and you can create your own custom theme if you're so inclined. And as you create your themes, you set up these small little snippets for, like in this case you have articles are your content that you're managing. And then you also have pages that get generated for you where you can also customize that. And all of it lives inside of your views. So if you want to go in and change like what a page says, it's pretty easy to do because you just come into the actual view itself, or you can go into the CMS. So let's go ahead and let's CD into our video project, and then we can go ahead and step through the installation. So the first thing to do is open this up in VS Code because we are going to be adding a couple gems. We'll come over here. Because we set up the Tailwind gem, what we want to do is come in here and say, let me hit Control+. We need to do the foreman. So we'll say gem for foreman, and that needs to be from GitHub. And this is just because I'm running Ruby 3.2, which doesn't really like it for some reason. And then the other gem we'll add is the Spina gem or Spina or whatever. Reading is hard. We go over this every time, and then someone bullies me in the comments, and then I have to laugh it off and pretend my feelings aren't hurt. But there you go. We got that added. We'll now do a bundle install to install those gems. That should add them for us. And then once that's done, we can then do a Rails G Spina :install command. Go ahead and run that. And that should start the setup process. So now to ask us what we want to name our website, I'm going to call mine the video tutorial thing. And then we can go ahead and choose a theme. There's a default and a demo. I'm going to go with the demo theme. So I'll type demo. It'll then ask me for the admin email and password. I'm just going to use deanin@example.com. And I'm going to set my password to be password. It'll then finish the setup for us. And then once this is done, it should tell us our info, which it does right here. And it tells us we can go to localhost port 3000. So I'm going to control click this to open this. So you can go to localhost port 3000, or you can go to localhost port 3000/admin, which is what I'm going to do. And then if we run a bin/dev, because we have the foreman gem set up for us, we can then go over to these locations, and we have the home page here. I'm going to move this over. This is our video tutorial thing. And then we have the Spina CMS in the background, which is right here. So here we can actually log in. We can say dean@example.com and a password of password. And that takes us to our CMS backend. Now on our front end, we can see we have the home page here, and we have the demo. And again, like I said, you can come into your app, your views, your demo, which is the name of our theme. We can then come into our pages, and we can take a look at like our demo page right here. And at the bottom here, I'm just going to type some text. That way you can see that that does in fact appear here at the bottom. Now this isn't the most efficient way to edit this, of course, but if you wanted to like change the layout, that's how you would want to do it. So let's come into our Spina backend here, click on demo itself. I'll full screen this. And in here, what we can do is we can just say, hello, I did this from the CMS. Then we can go ahead and click Save Changes. And then if we come over here, we can refresh. And you can see it says, hello, I did this from the CMS. Now, if we come over here and we refresh, we click the image button, we'll see that nothing's happening. The reason is if we come into our console and we scroll up a bit, at some point, action text is going to yell at us. I don't know where it happens. But basically, we have to stop our server and do a Rails active_storage : install command to install or to set up the migrations. I guess technically we're installing them. And then we can do a Rails db : migrate command, and then we can run a bin/dev again. And that will hopefully, if we come over here and refresh, that should let us hit enter a couple times, click the image button, and now we can click upload from device. We can upload this Minecraft image, I guess. We can then select it, click insert, that inserts the image. We can give it some alt text, the VR Minecraft world we made or something, I don't know. And then we can come down here, you can upload more images if you want. You can click a repeater, which allows you to choose like different items, I think, to like recursively add. I don't fully understand what the repeater is for, but that's why we have the documentation. Come over here, you can come down, or I guess come over to the repeater section, repeating content. You can see here, nesting content is one of the things you can do. Shows you how to do the theme configuration for it, which we'll take a look at in a second. And then gives you the view example, which we already saw is over here, right? But in this case, we'll just come over here. We'll leave it like this. We'll save the changes with this image. We can come over here and refresh the page, and now the image appears. So of course, if you go through here and you style the demo how you would like, then as you create content, the content will appear in the way that you expect it to appear, which is pretty neat. But okay, let's come over to the config real quick. And in the config, we have the initializers. I guess first, let's take a look at the routes. So in the routes, it just mounts the engine at the root of our project. This does mean, of course, that we can come in here, and if we want to, we can do a Rails G scaffold for posts. We'll give each post a title and a body of type text. It doesn't make sense to do this. You want a different model, of course. This is just, a bit reductionist. But if we then do a Rails db : migrate, we can then run a bin/dev to start our server. And then if we come over here and refresh, we can come over to /posts, and this will work just like we would expect it to, alongside the rest of the content that we're managing. You can see the style here is kind of gross, and the reason is because we have Tailwind set up. So if we come into our index right here, we can just hit enter on the post, hit backspace, and then do like a class equals, and then hopefully get some kind of like MB-4, and hopefully get something from Tailwind to show you. And there you go. So you can see Tailwind's working here, right? So all of this is hooked up. It's just, it's running alongside the rest of the CMS. So if you had other features you had to add, this is how you could do it pretty seamlessly. Okay, now what we can do is we can come back down here and take a look at the initializers. We have the spina.rb. In here, there's a bunch of different initializers that are, usable. You have the locales, which is going to be for your translations. You can specify the backend and the front end path. That just allows you to like manually create all of your routes. You can, set up the account management. So we have like the authentication down here, where you can change it to like devise if you're so inclined. Change the mailer, set up the API, do background jobs and all of that other stuff. It's all heavily commented, which is very nice. So it's just a matter of looking through here for what you're interested in. And then the other part of it is in the themes itself, you're going to have your theme file that correlates to the name of the theme. And in there, you can do the rest of your customization, where you tell it like what the different parts of the theme are, what the view templates are, any custom pages you would like, which right here you can see we have the home page and the demo page. And then you just, you add another one and you do that, and it just allows you to set something up like that. And then you can come over to like, let's go to the root of the application. If we save this, stop the server and start the server and come over here and refresh. Come over here and refresh. Hello, Brave. Okay. And now if we go to, what did I call it? Like /articles or something. And we come over here and we hit Control R, come to pages, and we click new page. We can do like a demo page. We'll call it articles, create a page, publish the page. And if we refresh, there we go. We get the articles page. Not really the right order here. You don't have to set this up if you don't want to. You could probably just omit this and you would get the same functionality. But these are just how you would create pages that are not created by the user. So this is how you get your automatically generated pages as opposed to the ones that I just created here, which totally undermines the point I was trying to prove. But you get the idea. These are auto-generated. These are manually created. And then they appear here if they are the manually created ones or the auto-generated ones, depending on if you add them to the top template, right? We also have the navigations, which of course is just the nav that we saw right there. We have the resources, so let's take a look at these. If we come over to the resources, the way we do this is kind of like WordPress. You come into like your pages, and then you have your resources right here, which are right next to it. So if we click on articles, we can then we can click on article settings, which allows us to change the label for it. Maybe we change it to blog. The slug can be like, I don't know, blog. We can create a default view template, which can be whatever we would like here. And then we can create or change the sorting options to like sort alphabetically. We can then come over here, create a new page. So this is a new blog post, right? And then we can say, I don't know, hello world, create the page, which creates the blog post. We say, this is my first blog post. And then we can upload the Minecraft image, which is already in our CMS. So we can just click it if we want to. And then we can click publish, right? Now, if we come over here, we can go to the articles page, but this is not like a all articles page, right? So we have to go to the actual thing we just created, which we renamed, if you'll recall, to the blog section right here. So if we click on hello world, we have this. We don't have the blog, but what we can do is we can click on the little new tab button right here. Oops, the new tab button right here. And this takes us to blog/hello world. So you'd want to create like a top level blog page. Oops, a top level blog page that then redirects you to the individual blogs, which do have those slugs. I can't really zoom in on it, but the slug is the title set as the URL parameter. So that's how you effectively use the Spina CMS. But if you come over here, you can take a look at some of the things that they show you how to do. So if we click on like the code examples, we can see real quick that the code examples has like a couple different options. If you hover over this, you have sample projects, you have the deployment, and you have the advanced where you override it. And for each of these, it's really nice. They just highlight the files that are relevant for you to change something to get a similar effect. So if we come back to the sample project, we can see here this involves overriding a portion of the application. So we can click on the application helpers. It shows us that it creates a helper for like @articles and how to do that, the nav items and the tags. It then shows us a couple custom pages in their custom theme where it has like a article.html where this has been styled with Tailwind, the articles.html. So this is how you would set up that page I was talking about where you have multiple articles that it links to. You then have the home page, you have the show page, then it shows you the headers and the navigation and what the relevant stuff for those pages looks like. And it's kind of like a built-in tutorial where you can sort of step through this how you would like. You then have your custom app.html.erb file for your layouts. You then have your custom theme file where you pretty much just copy the demo theme and then you just rename it, right? You then have your spina.rb where you just set the locales to be English. You have your routes, which are just the same routes I showed you. And then you have your gem file where it shows you the gems that are installed. So it walks you through all of this. It's very nice. I actually think this is like something a lot more applications should do. But I understand this isn't exactly the easiest thing to throw together. I'm sure the author of the plugin spent a considerable amount of time on just this. And if they did, I would, suggest maybe abstracting this into its own gem, right? But yeah, I just wanted to show this off. It's pretty cool to be able to create some of the stuff on your own. pretty quickly, and then you can modify it very easily thanks to the documentation. But yeah, hopefully this is interesting, hopefully this is helpful, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.